So I have another brain teaser for you guys. This one involves
एक
a
मिनट,
murder.
ये मैं आंसर नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि मैं एक और वीडियो नहीं चाहता जो वायरल हो जाए, जिसमें लोग को ये लगे कि मैं एक सी हूँ। अच्छा,
This
डर
one
बता दे चल।
involves this one involves a murder.
ये मैं कर दूंगा। मैं बहुत
Okay.
ट्रू देखा है।
So police show up at an apartment building, okay, where there's smell coming from one apartment and neighbors are complaining. So they open the door and they go inside and there's one man who's alone who lives in that apartment. He is lying face down on his desk in a pool of blood.
हम्म।
And there is a gun next to him and a tape recorder. Okay. So the police press play on the tape recorder and it says, "This is my final message. Goodbye." And there is a gunshot.
Okay.
Now everybody is like, this is a suicide or is this murder?
Oh, it could be both. You could just as well have a guy standing point blank telling him to record this message, because on audio you can't hear who's shot. Like you can't
I
see
mean,
who.
it also depends whether it's the man's voice, right?
Yeah, man's voice, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, but the police, मैं पुलिस का बताऊं तुम लोग को, what did the police declare it as? Police declared it as a murder.
Oh,
Yeah, why would
Yeah,
they declare it as a murder?
that's what I'm saying. There was another guy there who held a gun to this dude's head, said, "Oh, take this tape recorder, say this is my final message." Then this dude who's standing shot this guy, and hence he fell.
they declared it a murder because the man had multiple personalities, and one personality killed the
Killed
man.
the other personality.
Oh,
Personality.
hard.
Is that
This
what it
is
was?
this.
Huh?
No, this is not what it is. It's very
No,
simple, guys.
was the thing in his
हाँ,
hand or no? Where was the tape recorder?
the
ऐसे
tape
हाथ में,
recorder was on the table.
ऐसे
हाँ, the
प्लेस
tape.
किया हुआ है, गिरा हुआ है,
हाँ,
क्या है?
tape recorder is on the
Oh,
table.
it was a murder because you hear the gunshot, but then the tape recorder switched off.
The tape recorder has switched off and magically gone to the correct position where you just press play and it says.
Ah,
So that is how it's a murder, guys.
Nice. Very nice.
correct.
Unless he
Oh,
put the tape recorder and he kept his finger here and he's like, मैं अभी गोली चलाऊंगा and as I fall, it'll go to the pause and rewind button.
हाँ नहीं, but
But then how does it stop?
that was a good spot because वो था, चलते जा रहा था recording, because then he's not stopped it.
yeah.
तो pause किया, मतलब correct, nice one.
Nice.
Smart police. Okay.
क्या बात है? चलो इसी बात पे।
I think we should end every
Yeah,
story
just
with
today each story will end with
अबे
this,
अगर कुछ
guys.
सॉल्व हो जाता तो ऐसे ही हो जाता ना, सॉल्व हो इधर
हाँ.
से और वो सॉल्व।
and if you don't know what this is, then I'm sorry.
अच्छा,
Why are you
people who are
even
listening,
watching this?
we are basically just swinging our hand like
ऐसे ही प्रद्युमन
ACP Pradyuman.
सब ऑडियो पे सुनने वाले जो ये एपिसोड के लिए होगा Amazon म्यूजिक पे, बिकॉज इट्स गोइंग
Yes.
टू बी एक्सक्लूसिवली देयर फॉर अ वीक बिफोर इट गोस टू द अदर ऑडियो प्लेटफॉर्म्स। यूट्यूब ड्रॉप इज ऑन द सेम डे एज यू आर वाचिंग इट। तो थैंक यू Amazon म्यूजिक फॉर पार्टनरिंग विद अस। सुपर एक्साइटेड फॉर प्राइम डे। चालू करते हैं आज का एपिसोड इन 3, 2, 1। Hello and welcome to another episode of the Internet Set. So, a show where we take random scenes, products, or facts, items, and personal stories, and we talk about it. And yet another episode that we're doing after quite some time. It's an episode that has been highly asked for.
Hmm.
Yeah.
और उसके बीच में हम कितना बहुत टाइम हो गया ना अपने होकर
What
के,
time?
एक साल हो गया, 1-2 साल हो
Yeah.
गया।
Yeah.
उसके बाद
More,
कौतुक
more than that. More than
सब
that.
लोग उधर चले गए, सेकंड हैंड स्टोरीज पे चले गए। अभी तू सेकंड स्टोरीज
हाँ.
नहीं कर रहा है ना, इसलिए सब पब्लिक इधर आ रही है। तो तू सोच ले क्या करना है तुझे, बहुत।
Yeah, no, but we've done it after a long time because this is like I've shifted two houses in between us doing the last true crime episode. So
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
yeah. So in fact, I've gained a daughter in the middle of
इतना टाइम हो गया अपने को करके।
whatever, whatever.
आप तो मतलब अभी अगर ऐसे देख रहे हैं लोग कि टाइटल ट्रू क्राइम है, कौतुक के पास स्टोरी है, उनके पास
हाँ.
ईयरफोन है, तो थोड़ा एक टच हो रहे होंगे अंदर से।
Yeah.
तो
So
कौतुक चालू कर दे तू ही।
टच हो रहे होंगे अंदर से,
ऐसे
मतलब क्या है? अच्छा, they're touching
they're
their
touching
heart.
themselves, no touching
अच्छा.
themselves,
as
because
in
they're
like
excited for
you know
Kautuk true crime ASMR. You have to
the
spell it out.
The
Hmm.
weird thing is that I understood Thakur perfectly. I think we've done too many podcasts because I
Yeah.
perfectly understood. He means they feel touched by like
Yeah.
for sentimental reasons. Touchy, okay?
Hmm.
No, no, no.
Right.
No,
I
no,
meant they
no.
are touching
I
themselves because
understand
they are
Thakur better.
excited.
See,
Oh
I
shit!
To
understand
I do
him
listen
not
to
better.
a true
understand.
crime episode
I
where
don't
Kautuk is
understand
going to
Thakur
say a
at all.
story. Fuck, guys. I actually didn't say it correctly. I should have just said some people are touching themselves. That would have been it. But मैं थोड़ा उसको ऐसे कुछ ऐसे
Hmm.
करने लग गए करने में तो गया.
I'm so
But
glad we cracked that case. Okay.
yeah.
Now moving on. Okay, so I think the first place to start is I think something. I mean, the whole country has been talking about this particular case. Um,
Yeah.
it is, of course, the honeymoon murder that took place. So it was shocking from start to finish. It is still a developing case. So uh, you know, forgive us. We're trying to do the best we can with all the information that's out there. Um, and the intention is to just kind of like give you the broad contour of this particular sordid affair. So firstly, I want to ask you guys before we get into what happened in the story, but how did you guys hear about this story? Like, do you remember what like how you first?
तो the second this happens, तेरे फीड पे तो आ ही
Yeah,
जाता है. पहले इट वुड बी
Yeah.
अरे तू ट्विटर पे देख रहा है या तो कोई
yeah.
न्यूज पोर्टल के ऐप पे तेरे को इंटीमेशन आ गया या कुछ. तो ये सब तो इंस्टाग्राम पे भी चालू था बिकॉज देन
Um,
द मोर सेंसेशनल केस गेट्स right, and the more shocking it is, everybody jumps in on the bandwagon. So there were a whole bunch of random meme pages also जिसपे ये
Yeah,
डाले
yeah.
they
Super.
were going to
Everybody
get
becomes
traction.
a super sleuth at that
Sleuth,
time.
no,
Yeah.
and I think something we'll talk about at the end of listening to this particular story is what makes certain cases seem to grab the attention or the imagination of people more than others. Like, what is it about? Like, like one, like for example, for meme pages to get onto the act, and even I saw it first on social media, right? uh, it takes a certain type of case. So, okay, first let's just go through what all happened. Okay, so basically, the story we're going to start the story basically from the point where couple has gone on a honeymoon. The couple were Sonam Raghuvanshi, who was 25, and Raja Raghuvanshi, who was 29. So they had recently gotten married, and 2 weeks later, they decided to head to Meghalaya. Okay,
Hmm.
they wanted to trek to Non-Griat um, and see there is this route bridge basically. So it's a trek that goes to that place. So now what happens is that on May 23rd, their phones go dead. Okay? There is like serious concern that what has happened to the couple. After that, on May 24th, their scooter is found abandoned. On June 2nd, Raja's decomposed body is found in a gorge at the Y Sodong Falls. Okay, the body is ID'd via tattoos, and a homicide is confirmed. Now, here's the thing: at this point, Sonam is still missing. So you can imagine the atmosphere that's now building around a happy couple who have gone for a honeymoon to Meghalaya, who suddenly disappear, go incommunicado, and then a body of the boy is found. The girl is still missing. Now people are fearing the worst. All sorts of theories begin to pop up at this point. None of the theories are like they stretch from credible to like ludicrous. Everything from black magic to serial killers to
Hmm.
everything is brought into play at this point. Now, what happens is the next thing that happens is that Sonam's family gets a phone call from her. The police were tracking all the phone calls that the family were getting, and they managed to trace this call to a roadside dhaba that was on the Varanasi Gazipur highway. And when she's found there, she basically claims that I was abducted. And the first spin on the story begins, right? So she says that I was abducted, brought here, and when she was pressed about what happened in Meghalaya, she says that we were attacked on this trek. My husband tried to protect me, and in that this thing, he died. Now, the police were skeptical about this story, and there were several holes that had begun appearing. How did you get from Meghalaya to here? Who was involved? All of this, these questioning, this line of questioning opens up, and eventually she begins uh, to crack, and the story begins to actually unfold. Like what exactly happened as they begin to look into Sonam's life and uh, all the other motives that she could have. Now, when this happens, that's when they basically find out about her lover. Okay,
Hmm.
his name is Raj Kushwaha. Now, uh, and when they find this particular angle out, that's when the story breaks, and they basically figure out that Sonam and Raj had an affair. She wanted to marry him, but the parents were unwilling. They had found a match who was Raja. Now, Raja was uh, he was a perfectly suitable boy and well-to-do, uh, like a well-to-do family guy, and she agreed to marry him. Now, chillingly, apparently, according to one report, she said that, "Listen, I will marry him, but you have to be warned that whatever happens to him is not going to be like I'm not going to be responsible." Meaning, like something bad is going to happen.
This Sonam has said this.
She said this apparently.
Come on.
Okay. So now what happens is that uh, at this point, Sonam has hatched a plan with Raj, a plot. The plot is basically this. So she says that uh, what she wanted to do was she wanted to take him to Meghalaya. So she has planned this honeymoon. The idea was that she and Raj would get people, hire killers, who would then kill him in a remote, isolated spot. They would come up with this story. And the idea was that now that she was a widow, her family would be more open to her marrying Raj. Okay, like basically she was playing on this idea that society, the value of a widow is much lower, and so like any relative
Anyone willing to marry, you will
willing to
take
marry
him.
her, you would bring him in, right? That was literally the reasoning behind this entire plot.
Fuck, bro.
Yeah,
Bro.
it's pretty crazy, and it's like like when they say that murderers come from society, like all of this, like the factors of society play into all of these crimes as well, right? So
But dude, this is premeditated and how? Like, if you've thought it so
Uh-uh.
far ahead,
yeah,
it's not one of those like crimes of passion that,
no,
oh,
no,
Oh,
no.
my
no,
lover
no, no.
saw me with my current
So
husband in a fit of rage. They got into a fight. He died. Now you're trying to. They fucking
no,
hatched.
it was thought out like multiple chess moves in advance, right? Like how do I get from
Hmm.
point A to point B and all these things, and that's the scary, chilling, horrifying part that they considered Raj to be just a pawn in this thing, someone to be sacrificed, so to speak.
Hmm.
So so basically the three men that were hired, their names were Akash Rajput, Vishal Singh Chauhan, and Anand Kurmi. Okay. So they were given 50,000 rupees initially.
It.
Uh, exactly. To get them there, she had
Wow.
promised them more money.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So these three men reach Meghalaya. Okay. Now, at this point, like there is like you have to piece all of this together using all sorts of like phone calls and CCTV cameras and all of these things that were there. And I'll tell you one very other like incredibly chilling thing that was also uncovered eventually. So what happens is, let's start from that point. Okay, so there was this one tourist who had in fact gone to that location, and he was coming back. Now, as he was coming back, he was documenting his journey. Okay. Now he gets back home, and then suddenly this case breaks. When this case breaks, he realizes, hey, I was in Meghalaya at this same place around the time that this murder happened. Let me go through my footage. And when he goes through his footage, he sees that he has video footage of him
Ah.
walking down this trail, and he sees the the couple, Sonam and Raja,
Hmm.
and behind them
You see
are the
Raj.
killers. No, so Raj hadn't gone.
Oh,
Shit.
the killers, the three guys who were
Three
hired.
guys
Yeah.
who were
The hired
hired.
people, yeah.
So these three men are walking, and as the camera passes them, one man tries to hide his face.
Oh.
So he has the last footage that anyone has of Raja alive. And chillingly, he also has the killers on tape. It's a forensically very significant thing for the police, this
Hmm.
killer video, because it literally places them at the crime scene. Extremely like you can imagine the guy who's got the footage, right? Like what do you go through? Like you have literally walked past death as it moved ahead. So
No,
um
but like props to the guy who came back. Even at, many times people tend to say,
Yeah.
hey, what are the odds that you had or you remembered? Like many times you come like, हाँ होगा मेघालय में यार, it's crazy. We were there at the same time.
yeah,
But to go back and to find the video and have these guys on tape, like this will
and
be the
I
this will be the
think
final nail in the coffin, na? Ki,
so. So at this point she's confessed finally. Like they've both admitted
Hmm.
confess who had to Meghalaya police, but so we're basically just getting a little ahead. So basically, what happens is that this happens. Um, Now the killers go to this particular isolated spot. At this point, she backs away from Raja Raghuvanshi and she turns to the three men who are there who had posed as fellow tourists. Who Raja at this point thinks that Sonam does not know them at all.
Yeah.
Okay, she turns to them and she yells, "Kill him!
she yells, kill him.
Kill him!"
Dude, that's
So
But और कोई टूरिस्ट नहीं था क्या आजू बाजू like
no,
just
so they, in fact, a local guide had said that I met them
he
and I had offered my services. They said that we don't want, we're happy to trek alone. They had, in fact, like she had meticulously found a route that was slightly more isolated. All of these things, like she's like, it's been very like meticulously.
wow.
Okay. Now, they attack him, right? And they kill him, and then they dispose of his body um, from this sort of like hilly area. Now, what happens is that there's a lot of CCTV footage also gets uncovered from all of this. So there is one thing where they're on a scooter. Okay, they've reached one place and they're going to the trek or they basically left a hotel or something like that. They're on a scooter, and at some point you see her get off the scooter, and she's on her phone constantly. Okay, and Raja is on the scooter waiting for her to finish, and she's constantly on the phone. You can tell that she was so basically during this time she was constantly in touch with Raja and the three killers, right? So she's killed her husband, and now they flee. Okay, they flee from Meghalaya. She gets into a taxi that takes her all the way to UP. It's a 1,000 kilometer journey, and she basically uh, she wears a burqa and she doesn't stop for food, doesn't stop for anything. She just says keep driving, right? So and then eventually she reaches this dhaba, right, where the phone call was made and all of this sort of comes out. Um, so essentially, like there's a lot of like there's 119 calls, there's testimony of
hmm.
people, there's destroyed evidence, there's all of this stuff, and more significantly, like she and Raj have admitted to the relationship and admitted to the plot that was uh, that they basically had spearheaded.
Dude, that's crazy. Firstly, for all the planning that she did, is she stupid to just keep constantly messaging and texting? Like,
So, so they had sort of like
must have gotten burners or something.
they had gotten burners,
Yeah.
and on Truecaller, Raj had changed his name to Sanjay Verma. Okay, to throw
But
the
that doesn't matter. It's like Truecaller is working on an aggregated system. No? If like 500 people still have him as
so
that,
so no. So what happened? I mean, like he had bought a SIM basically. So the Truecaller name.
yeah.
He had
Huh.
basically bought a
A
SIM
fake, basically bought a burner sim, whatever. Huh.
under the name of Sanjay Verma. So she had basically made 119 calls to this Sanjay Verma, who then turns out to be Raj, right? So they were they had not just planned and plotted it. They had also like now the other part of the story that is equally like like one of the reasons why it's become it's so captivating is because up to that point, right? You have in this particular case, you have so much footage, right? And you have footage from the wedding as well, because this was a 2025 wedding, which means it was also being broadcast on social media while it was happening. And
Hmm.
Hmm.
so you have like, and in retrospect, it makes all of these things seem so like all these innocuous things. They become so significant. For example, there's a video of Raja's sister. She's she makes like so basically she's an influencer, right? And she makes like video content and stuff like that. So she had made a transition reel with her brother for his wedding. Where like they transition from one thing to another to another to another, and then
Yeah.
he's married. There's footage of him with the women of the family. They did a reel, right? Uh, and in this whole thing, all these reels, all these very like normal happy moments from a wedding, you can see how much Raja was looking forward to it. He just seemed
Right.
so into it, right?
Hmm.
And that's the thing that I think like captures the imagination, because like it's everybody. Like we all three of us have gone through the
Yeah.
same marriage, right? The same sort of like, the excitement, the videographing of it, all of that. And to have that suddenly being colored with this thing that all along, while he was
There was
doing
this
it,
plan going on.
his
Fuck, dude.
fate
Yeah.
had been sealed.
I
That's
sometimes
the scary
don't.
part.
I don't get the psyche, right? Like you don't love this person, you're never going to be like the thought to just jump straight to marriage, isn't it? Like a lot better to just come out with it, say sorry, this ain't happening, chhod ke nikal jao.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like how much is societal shame a problem compared to you're like, I'm okay with murder.
yeah, yeah.
Like I'm going to hatch this elaborate plan, find a route, get assassins, use burner phones, yada yada, travel. All of this shit isn't
Rather than just elope and just
just
fuck off and disappear into the country. Yeah.
like no. That's what I'm like. क्या इतना क्या है societal और ये pressure कि you prefer
है वो
doing a
तो
murder? I mean है. I'm not saying नहीं है. And
हाँ
it's अपन bubble में लेकिन बाहर होता है. So I'm not saying नहीं होता है. But I'm
हाँ.
like, how much can it be that you prefer murder over it,
You're
bro?
right. You're right.
Like murder
So
is त्रास,
ba-
तामझाम.
basically,
It's not
uh,
like
no, you're right. And the thing is that there's a type of murder, especially in this
Hmm.
type of scenario, right? Where they
This
have
is
a
proper gone girl planning type situation where it's like
psychotic,
everything has been planned. Yeah.
psychotic. And the thing is that what I find very interesting is the fact that like they have this type of person has a mixture of uh, basically misapplied courage. You have the courage to commit murder, but not
yeah,
the courage to face your parents and stand up for your love, right? Like that's
exactly,
weird,
Hmm.
like
exactly.
misapplication of like you have
You
the
think this will be a more, you think, okay, imagine how horrible that situation has been created at your home that you would rather not, you would avoid this awkward interaction with your parents. You would rather commit murder than like actually face this awkward
and
interaction with your parents and tell them
exactly.
that
And
I don't want to do this.
Bro, one second. I don't know, but tell me one thing. Was there any money situation involved in this? Because
not
see,
that
that's that
I know
like
of.
the other like spouse murdering the other spouse type things you've heard. One is crime of passion, boyfriend girlfriend आके कुछ कर दिया. एक तेको insurance payout चाहिए. Like I have a story about an insurance payout.
Hmm.
So I'm asking, did this Sonam case have any insurance money?
The police do claim that there is some
हाँ,
financial angle as well.
कुछ तो होगा ही.
Hmm.
Um, uh, but it's not apparent. Like the bigger thing is the
Hmm.
fact that like she like basically the plan was that like I love. By the way, the other thing that happened. So there are weeks before like between Raja's body being found, her being found, and the final confession coming out. Right, there's weeks. Now in that time, there's also footage of all of this stuff. So when Raj was when she wasn't found, he had come home to console Sonam's father, and Raja's father. There's video footage of this guy in the house, because he used to work for Sonam's father.
But usually, if you really look at it, like all these cases, mostly it is somebody who is familiar with the family, who is like that relationship, whatever has happened, is probably because this person was a usual, um, a person who usually is in the house, is a trusted person. Hence, she also ended up being in a relationship with him, etc. So that usually is very normal. And that's what's always shocking. That's why all the police cases, they always point to the spouse or the people in the
Course.
house.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always that first.
Dude,
Yeah.
and the thing is, right, like you're in 2025. Imagine your undoing is a video of a random tourist who happened to pass by you for 10 seconds, who happened to have his video recording, who happened to remember that, oh, I'll just go and check. I remember taking a video, and then that just puts you bang in the scene of the crime.
So he wasn't the
Yeah.
main reason that they got caught, but
No,
he
but
did
like it's
the
bro, like
supplement. Yeah, yeah,
circumstantially, at
yeah,
least even if you go to see, if you have to place five of those people at the same time, and you have a video where you see five,
yeah.
unless AI बोल के तू निकल रहा है, नहीं है, सच है वो.
No, all these weird things, these tend to happen. Like you, no matter how much you plan, you tend to like you get undone by something silly, which was the strongest part of your plan becomes your undoing. The fact that they were isolated, the fact that they were in a public place, the fact that oh these guys have gone on their honeymoon, which was their alibi, became their undoing.
Yeah, and I think like so what happened with this particular case was that to begin with also it was quite sensational, right? The fact that two
Hmm.
young people on a honeymoon to Meghalaya suddenly go missing. To begin with, that's a very like sensational starting point. But when that kernel of a case begins to expand into an even bigger plot that never stops snowballing, you can imagine like it was so uh, like it was just so uh, like these are the things that you if you showed in a movie it would be far-fetched.
Yeah.
Like it would be like, man, that was quite a crazy thing. So
Yeah, it's so there's another case that is again like this foiled because of something that you thought was the best part of your plan. It's called the shark arm case of 1935, where they discovered this was in Australia. This was a shark that was in the Coogee Aquarium in Sydney, and they discovered a human arm inside the shark, inside the aquarium. Now, they identified the person as this guy called Jim Smith, who was a police informant. Now, what was weird about it? Acha, he probably fell in the this and this is an accident and the shark ate him. No, they discovered that the arm was cut too perfectly. This was not bitten off by a shark. So then they basically went through their entire records and they found these two people, Patrick and Reginald Holmes, who were initially implicated in the murder victim's disappearance, and they were suspected of extortion. So basically, that shark के वजह से the whole case got solved. And they thought that it's basically the case got solved because the shark didn't have a fast digestive system.
I was just going to ask that. I'm like, ये कौन सा शार्क है जो हाथ को लेके ऐसे रख दिया अंदर में, थोड़ा टाइम सेव कर लेता हूँ, बाद में खा लूंगा.
Yeah, it's just I think it's spat it out. What happened? I don't know about
So
that.
wait
But
1 second. So when they cut this dude's arm, the shark was in open waters.
no, the shark was so basically they went to the aquarium and basically
अच्छा. Oh shit.
हाँ डाल दिया है हाँ
तो पहले से उन लोग चॉप करके लेके गए.
हाँ उसको काट
seriously.
दिया है और yeah, तो and they discovered that it's these cuts are from a knife. This is not a shark bite.
1 second, what aquarium is this that lets you just bring body parts? ले भाई अब तो बैग लेके.
1935 भाई
हाँ,
1935 में सब चलता था.
सब चलता था ब्रो, वो है. Bro, I have this story, okay, of this lady named Sharon Kinne. Okay, she
हम्म.
was given the name La Pistolera. Okay,
हाँ.
so this happens in 1960, okay, in Missouri in
इस
the US.
हाँ.
Now, Sharon Kinne comes back home from the market, opens the door, and finds her 25-year-old husband shot in the face. She screams,
Fuck.
she sees to the side, the gun is in the hand of a 2-year-old.
What?
A 2-year-old.
Huh.
Okay, so calls the cops, yada yada, says, listen, I came home, I just saw this, I don't know what has happened. Saw the gun in my 2-year-old's hand and saw my husband dying
Hmm.
on the floor. And I called you guys immediately. So the investigators buy this theory.
Hmm.
They sign off on the case and she gets
What year is this? Sorry, what year is
1960.
this?
1960.
Okay.
हाँ मैं वही बोल
Hmm.
रहा हूँ बिकॉज वी से 1935 में कुछ भी होता था ऐसे ब्रो.
हाँ
1935 नहीं वो तू 1990 तक पकड़ ले कुछ भी हो रहा था फिर डीएनए पीएनए आ गए कैमरा वैमरा तो चेंज एनीवे.
हाँ.
So then they sign off on the case and she gets a massive insurance payout.
Hmm.
Now few months later there's a lady called Patricia Jones
Hmm.
who is the wife of this Sharon जो है जो अपनी थी ला पिस्तुलेरा उसके बॉयफ्रेंड की वाइफ है ये.
Hmm.
Okay. Now she is found dead. Now in that investigation the cops also take Sharon because they find out that Sharon was dating this dead woman's husband. Dead now, not when they were dating, right?
हाँ.
उसको उसके ऊपर केस होता
Not when they were
है.
dating.
No, just in case you thought that they started dating after she died, no, she was dating before. So as a suspect, इस पे भी गया कि ये गर्लफ्रेंड ने किया हो सकता है. Now she is put on trial and she is acquitted
Hmm.
because there was an all-male jury who took a full fancy to her, so much so that after she was acquitted, they asked for her autograph and all of that also.
क्या बात.
So now this lady, Sharon Kinne, who's now twice, अभी उसके आजू बाजू दो लोग मरे. एक उसका पति मरा है जो उसने बोला बेटी ने मारा है और ये औरत मरी जो उसके करंट बॉयफ्रेंड की वाइफ है.
Hmm.
Okay, acquitted, done, sorted. Few months after that, her current boyfriend that she was with is also found murdered. फिर वापस केस होता है कि भाई ये तो तीसरे बार हो गया है, व्हाट द फक इज गोइंग ऑन. दैट केस एंड्स अप बीइंग डिसमिस्ड
अरे
बिकॉज ऑफ प्रोसीजरल एरर्स. सो
अरे
हाँ, so now third murder around this woman. Now she is acquitted for a
वो
third time.
फिलहाल 3 खून बस.
3 गुण मार.
हाँ.
ठीक है. Now she is out on bail. So she flees to Mexico. Okay, she flees to Mexico. उधर गई है. वहां पर जाके एक और आदमी
Oh
मर्डर्ड
no.
मिलता है a few years later,
अबे
whose
यार.
name is Francisco Parades Ordonez. Now this dude is found dead in the motel.
Hmm.
Turns out he was dating La Pistolera, aka Sharon Kinne, right? मैक्सिकन पुलिस भी इसके पीछे पड़ी है. दे ट्राइंग टू फिगर क्या हो रहा है, थोड़ा इसके केस वेस में जाते हैं ये वो. टर्न्स आउट the same gun that was found in the murder of that second lady,
Hmm.
that same gun is tied to this guy. And finally, Sharon Kinne is arrested and put in jail for 13 years. 5 years
13
into the
years, that's
sentence.
it.
One second.
13
13
years.
years खाली.
1-3. Okay?
That sucks.
कुछ भी चल रहा है 60s में. ठीक है. Then 5 years into her sentence, while in prison, there is a massive prison blackout.
अरे
And
All the prisoners are dead.
she manages she manages to escape.
oh fuck
Oh.
no.
Okay, so उसका 5 हो गया है मर्डर. जेल भी गई 5 साल के लिए. 1969 में ब्लैकआउट भागेश. Then for decades she was not found. She happened to be one of America's topmost fugitives. On the run, never found. Never found. Finally, police and authorities in January 2025 confirmed that she was living in Alberta, Canada, under the alias क्या नाम था, Deidra Glabus. Okay, so you would be like अभी उसको पकड़ लेंगे. Except once they go there, they find out that she died in 2022
Oh, so the last murder was
at,
herself.
at age 82.
Oh.
Oh
So she managed to escape authorities for what? 52 years? 1969 में भागी थी, 2022 में मरी. That's 53 years.
How do you live like that? Like, you know
Push
that
bounce
people
ना.
are after you. Yeah, but
Missouri,
then it's
Missouri से
still,
Mexico,
you're always like,
escape.
every time you're doing something, you're always like, will I be caught today? Will I be caught tomorrow? And for 50 years to live like that. कि
Yeah, but
आज के
like,
What a
कल
crazy
but it's
नहीं.
story.
a,
But
I
the
mean, that's the thing,
2-year-old,
right?
basically, the 2-year-old, she had planted the gun in the 2-year-old's hand.
Yes,
That's what she had done.
must have been,
Yeah,
must
for
have.
sure. It's very
So
unlikely that the 2-year-old is firing
yeah.
guns.
No, and the
And
thing is, each time, like, पहले पुलिस ने मान लिया, because you have that appearance of, oh, I'm a very nice, doting mother, good wife, suburban, ये lady, मैं तो कुछ गलत नहीं करूँ, मैंने तो immediately phone भी कर दिया. So she is called La Pistolera. And even when that other murders have happened, when she murdered the guy, she claimed self-defense. तो एक बेबी ने मारा, एक में उसको ऑल मेल जूरी ने अक्विट किया, एक में वो बोल रही है सेल्फ डिफेंस, एक में प्रोसीजरल एरर, फिर प्रिजन ब्रेक, एंड फाइनली डाइड विदाउट एवर गेटिंग कॉट.
I got to tell you
wow.
2 cases because
Huh.
um, Adar had brought up the shark story, right? I'll
Huh.
tell you 2 cases that were solved by animals.
Yes. Please, one of them is a
Animals.
monkey. Is
Animals.
one of them a
No,
monkey?
no, no. Sadly, no. Sadly, no. I'm sure there is out there in the world. There is. But okay, so
Gotta
I'll
find
start
it.
with
Huh.
I'll start with the first one. Okay, so basically, what happened is in Finland, in Helsinki, cops find a car that's been abandoned on the side of the road. Now, when they find this car, they find out that it's been stolen, but they have no clues as to who has stolen it, right? And who has been taking this joyride around Helsinki. Now, as the police begin combing through the car, what do they find? Are you ready, guys? They find a really fat, bloated mosquito
Mosquito.
Okay.
in the car. So they take this mosquito, they trap it, they take it into a forensic lab, and they extract the blood that's in the mosquito.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
then they run it
Fuck.
through a DNA database. They find out कि एक बंदा था उस database में who is a direct hit for the blood found in this juicy mosquito.
ब्रो, बट क्या गारंटी है कि वो मस्कीटो ने उसको और किधर नहीं काटा है, खून लेके घूम रहा है अंदर.
तो ठाकुर, यू हैव थॉट लाइक अ परफेक्ट क्रिमिनल, क्योंकि जब इस बंदे को पकड़ा ना,
हाँ,
बंदा बोला देखो भाई,
मच्छर है.
ब्लड तो मेरा है. हाँ, ये करेक्ट है, करेक्ट है.
हाँ.
पर मैं गाड़ी नहीं चला रहा था. I basically was hitchhiking and a guy was in the car and I got into the car
Ah.
and तो मेरे को काटा है. But this did not fly.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was basically sentenced for the thing.
एक
That
मच्छर, एक
yeah.
मच्छर आदमी को सीधा जेल पहुंचा सकता है ब्रो. इसलिए अगर तुम्हारे आसपास कभी मच्छर दिखे ना,
Just always.
मारो,
सीधा
मारो.
कान के नीचे.
ठीक है, स्पेशली अगर तुम सीरियल किलर हो, अगर तुम क्राइम करने वाले हो, तो आजू बाजू मच्छर एक्चुअली इधर नहीं
In
पकड़
fact,
पाएंगे,
if you're
इधर
a
किसको
serial
पकड़ेगा.
killer, why would you avoid killing a
ब्रो,
mosquito? It's
ये
like you're
अगर इधर
killing.
ट्राई किया, ये इधर
हाँ.
ट्राई किया, इधर कितने मच्छर होंगे ब्रो. पुलिस ही कंफ्यूज, सॉरी सर, हमारे पास फिलहाल 1,37,00,000 मैचेस आ गए. कैसे ये 4 मच्छर पकड़े बस उनसे, कहाँ से आएंगे इतने मच्छर ब्रो. बट ये किल,
Superb.
ये इन लोगों ने जुरासिक पार्क थियरी अप्लाई किया ना,
Yeah.
सीधा
Hmm.
निकाले.
So now there is also, by the way, a surprising number of crimes that have been solved via this particular animal. Okay.
लीच,
No.
bats.
Okay. Ready? Now this story takes place in 1942. So what happened is that there was an owner of a restaurant. Okay, his name was Max Geller. Now this owner, and he owned a restaurant called the Green Parrot Restaurant. All right. And one day in 1942, Max Geller was shot in his own restaurant. And there were about 20 witnesses, but nobody wanted to come forward. Okay. Now what happens is that there was one particular witness though who came forward. Okay. And the witness was a large green parrot.
Oh.
So this parrot, uh,
Oh.
ah, तो
Okay.
पैरेट पैरेट को पूछा, भाई जब मर्डर हुआ तूने देखा तो बता कौन किया मर्डर. So parrot started squawking. He said, "Robber,
Hmm.
robber, robber." Okay, so they said it's a robber who did it. Okay, cool. So now, ठीक है, robber came in, robber shot Max Geller. But now, where do you go with this information? Now, this case kind of stalled until a year later, when a detective puzzling over all the details of the case happened to come across the testimony of the parrot.
ये कोई ये कोई उधर कोर्ट के बाजू में जो बैठता है ना, जो ले रहा होता है मिनट्स पूरा. एंड देन द पैरेट सेड,
The parrot said.
ओह शिट.
So, detective is poring over the details of the case, comes across testimony of the parrot, and
हाँ.
sees the thing. Now, he looks into the history of the parrot. When he looks into the history of the parrot, he finds out that this parrot had been placed in the Green Parrot restaurant. And the gimmick was basically this. The gimmick was that there were a few customers who were regulars at the Green Parrot. And this particular parrot was trained to say their names out loud when the regulars walked in.
Oh,
Knowing this information, they went
it
like,
is not robber,
it
it
is
is
Robert.
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 Ah.
Robert. हाँ. चल. Let's.
So, so basically, they found out, bro, एक second. Initially, we thought it was just one, parrot who was just saying shit. Now it's like, oh, he knows names and he's saying Robert, but it's probably Robert. When they looked into all the regular customers who were there, who do they find? They find a man called Robert Butler. And when they go and catch Butler, he had basically, when they look into his whereabouts, they find out that he had left town literally the night of the murder. And they catch him.
Oh.
Oh
He was indeed
shit.
the man who was behind the crime.
भाई ब्रो, पैरेट खतरनाक होता है. तो मेरे भाई की गर्लफ्रेंड है, शी आल्सो हैज अ पैरेट.
Parrot.
Huh.
Bro, is it a parrot or okay? Excuse me, but it's a bird. I think it's a parrot only or another bird, but whatever. He's too cute. लेफ्टी नाम है उसका. वो तो करता है भाई ऑलमोस्ट. हाँ, लेफ्टी. बहुत क्यूट है और करता है बात.
So that is how the parrot solved the case.
एक ये पैरेट है और एक वो मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ मैं पैरेट है. Bro, fuck, but यार,
Dude,
what
that
are the
parrot is
odds?
something you see that parrot only when you have mushrooms. That is that प्रेम मैं प्रेम की दीवानी हूँ वाला parrot is proper mushrooms वाला parrot.
Dude, can I, sorry, just
But हाँ
before you continue, other just one last thing.
हाँ
There is one other, by the way, incredible number of parrots, like I told you, who have been witnesses to crime and who
हाँ
basically become who also
witness
yeah.
हाँ
So what happens is in India also there is one parrot who saw a murder. Now murder happened, police can't crack the case. What used to happen was that every single time the guy who died, his nephew would come to the house, parrot would start getting agitated. So
Oh,
because of
बॉडी
that,
लैंग्वेज से पकड़ लिया है पैरेट के.
they
Wow.
found him. And there was a even more heartbreaking case where there was a man called there's a guy called Martin Durham. Okay, so he was shot and killed in May 2015. Okay, now he had a 19-year-old African grey parrot. Now African grey parrots are known to be one of the most like vocal of the animal species.
hmm.
This creature, to tell you how intelligent and emotionally complex they are, when he saw his owner getting shot, he was like genuinely emotionally disturbed. He kept repeating the phrase that Martin Durham had said last. And that phrase was, "Don't fucking shoot."
Oh, and the parrot is repeating that.
Saying
Parrot
don't
kept
fucking
repeating,
shoot.
kept,
God damn.
"Don't fucking shoot, don't fucking shoot, don't fucking shoot, don't fucking shoot."
Yeah.
Pretty
But
crazy.
dude, there are animal cases that you find a lot. Like animal when they're born. Like एक मैंने random case पढ़ा था where the cat of the house was basically like every time the parents would leave the child with the babysitter,
Yeah.
And they would go out, वापस आते थे, they would always notice and babysitter is fine, बच्चा सो गया है, जो भी है. The cat used to always be hissing at the babysitter, wanting to claw the babysitter all the time. They had to pull the cat away from the babysitter always. And then one day they set up a camera. Turns out the babysitter was hitting the child, and the cat was seeing this, and the cat was,
Wow.
yeah, cat was protecting the baby of the house. तो
Bro, I've seen some
ऐसे.
crazy videos of cats like really taking care of babies, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
हाँ.
like they are because Nikita was just on some cat algorithm, so she's showing me हम लोग किस पे आ रहा है. Dude, they are literally like there's one baby going towards the ledge and like
उसको
she's
नीचे
held hand,
नीचे
उसका हाथ लेके ऐसे खींच रही है कि चल मत कर.
हम
You
लोग
know,
का
like वो
एल्गोरिदम
बच्चा कुछ
सेम है
गिर रहा है
सबका.
तो जाके cat लेट गई and then the बच्चा puts the head on it instead of dangling it. Like insane. Like, I mean, obviously cats, dogs, a whole bunch of them
हम्म.
do it, but
अच्छा, बट ये स्पेशल वाला है. सो
उनके
इन
ये है.
जून, ये मंकी है भाई.
अरे
Oh,
monkey.
In 2023, this is June 2023. I might have mentioned this, but it's popped up again.
what?
In Rajasthan, there was a murder case.
Oh, shit.
Okay, and the police had managed to apprehend two suspects. And they had found the murder weapon, which was a knife. And ये हवलदार को नाइफ दिया है. And ये हवलदार ब्रेक लेने के लिए बैठा है झाड़ के नीचे. And बंदर आया है. And the main key piece of evidence has been picked up by the monkey. Our bandar farar.
Oh,
And they had to go to
no.
the court and had to say this in front of a judge.
उधर मंकी मर्डर वेपन लेके चला गया है और उधर से दूसरे तरफ से पैरेट आके बोल रहे हैं कि मैं जानता हूँ, मैं जानता हूँ.
मैं जानता हूँ. आपका गवाह पायलट है. आपका मर्डर वेपन बंदर ने चुरा लिया है. आपका आपका बॉडी शार्क के अंदर मिला है. ये क्या चल रहा है भाई?
क्रेजी. ओके.
लेकिन मर्डर किसने किया है? एक काम करते हैं, आजू बाजू के थोड़ा मच्छर को लेते हैं साइड
मच्छर
पे.
को पूछते हैं.
बोलते हैं, ए भाई तूने देखा है कि इसको इधर आ इधर आ. नहीं नहीं, मेरे से खुलने का. इधर आ इधर आ.
मर्डर.
अरे साहब,
मच्छर
सच में
ज्यादा
साहब.
बेस्ट कोवर्ट इन्फॉर्मेंट्स करके निकल.
साहब मैं आज बहुत लोगों को काटा हूँ साहब, मेरे को नहीं पता किसने किया. अरे साहब, मर गए. डेथ ऑफ द
Did
मच्छर.
I imagine Nawazuddin from Sarfarosh? You said that. Oh man. Okay. So I want to take you now from the animal kingdom into the
Hmm.
world of Worli crime.
Oh.
वर्ली एज इन द एरिया इन मुंबई.
Mumbai.
Oh, I
वर्ली
thought
क्राइम.
worldly crimes.
No, Worli is.
This was worldly crimes.
So by the way, this crime story is so noir. It is so noir. It is so.
द टर्म वर्ली एंड नुआर. वर्ली नुआर. क्या चल रहा है उधर? गाय इन अ ट्रेंच कोट स्मोकिंग अ पाइप नेक्स्ट टू
Yeah.
कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ कोस्टल रोड.
So the thing is just minus the trench coat. So it's 2025 noir. Okay. So no, 24 actually. This was last.
Hmm.
So what happens is it's a crazy story. Gets crazier as you go along. And none of the characters in this story come out with any kind of morality intact. They're all, that's what makes it so noirish, right? They're all like very, very, what do I call them? Like just like very twisted people doing crazy things, and it ends up in this particular case. So what
Hmm.
happens is, um, uh, the story starts with a man called Guru Wagmare. Okay, Guru Wagmare had a girlfriend who was working at a spa. Okay, the spa was called Touch Spa. Okay,
Soft touch.
Yeah, Soft Touch Spa. Now, even the world of the crime, right, is noir. So,
दिस
Soft
इज
Touch.
परफेक्ट. दिस इज क्लासिक
Hmm.
नुआर ब्रो. आई एम सीइंग दिस अनफोल्ड.
Yeah, मेरे को ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में दिख रही है स्टोरी. दिस इज नॉट.
Okay.
बट सॉफ्ट टच तेरा ग्लो इन द वो होता ना थोड़ा नियॉन लाइट्स में.
हाँ, नियॉन लाइट वाला एक, this suggestive
Hmm.
photo outside the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what happens is that Guru Wagmare was slightly teda guy. Okay. So he had this girlfriend who used to work at Soft Touch Spa. And what he did is he filed a complaint against the owner of the spa, a man called Santosh Sherekar. Okay, files a complaint against him. And basically what he was trying to do in this thing was he wanted to extort money. He said कि मैं complaint डाल दिया हूँ. अगर if you want me to withdraw it, I'll withdraw it, but you pay me money for it. And allegedly sought extortion from Santosh. Now what happens is that Santosh Sherekar decides that I'm not going to have any of this. He decides that I'm going to get rid of Guru Wagmare. So how does he do it? He basically gets Guru Wagmare's girlfriend involved, and he also pays 6 lakh rupees to a hitman. Okay. Now this hitman is a man called Mohammad Ansari. Okay. So on this particular July 23rd night, Wagmare was partying in Sion with his girlfriend who worked at the spa. Later in the night, somehow the girlfriend convinces him, or whatever happens, for whatever reason, they land up at the spa. Okay, Wagmare and the girlfriend. When they enter the spa, who is waiting inside but the hitman? Okay. They kill Wagmare. Now, at 2 a.m., the thing is, everyone leaves the spa and Wagmare is killed. His throat is slit with a sharp weapon. Now, how does the police crack the case immediately? Because they cracked it almost immediately. The police swung into action. They detained 4 people from Nalasopara and Kota in Rajasthan. The reason they were able to do this was because they found Wagmare's body.
Oh.
And on Wagmare's thigh were tattooed the names of 22 people, saying that if I die, then one of these 22 people will be responsible.
He has tattooed it.
Yes.
Wow.
ये इसकी गर्लफ्रेंड ने क्यों नहीं देखा है?
Shit. Yeah.
And the poor guy, imagine he's gone to the spa and he's like, अच्छा चलो अभी I'll get a deep tissue massage. He's like, नहीं आज तेरा acupuncture होगा.
So here's the crazy part, dude. The crazy part is that Guru Wagmare was also a history sheeter. Okay.
Hmm.
And he had 22 people's names, and he had basically written, yeah, like these are my enemies. And he's written their name on his thigh, right? And
हाँ.
basically the other thing I think about is, who was the tattoo artist
Yeah.
who has seen Guru Wagmare? Guru Wagmare has told him, bro, I need to get a tattoo. He's like, "Kidhar?" Hi, okay, kya? And he says, ये नाम लिख. And it's like,
You're sure it was thigh के थोड़ा ऊपर is like ये लोग मेरी गांड मारेंगे and उसने गांड पे करा है tattoo.
what was the thigh?
नहीं, बट अगर उसमें से किसी का नाम ज्यादा लंबा हुआ होगा तो काफी पेन टू गो थ्रू.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, there is a photo of this man's thigh. It's crazy. Like it's
With 22 names.
22 names.
But the tattoo guy also must be happy ना, उसको बैठ के वो more ink, more money. सर कर्सिव में
Tattoo
लिखो
guy is
क्या?
happy. उसको क्या है? हाँ.
सर कर्सिव में लिखो क्या? नहीं ब्लॉक लेटर्स में लिखो.
Please.
No, and also like you.
Font size क्या है? 22? नहीं 15 is okay. अरे सर 22 करो ना, थोड़ा show off.
No,
दिखेगा
but
नहीं.
this is another story where stranger than fiction. Like you put this in a pulpy masala movie where,
Dude, it's a great episode.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's a great episode.
villain has names of his enemies tattooed on his back. This is Gajini, dude.
गजनी exactly.
Yeah,
I was
this is
just thinking
proper
that.
Gajni.
Fuck.
बट गजनी में वो खुद टैटू करके खुद देख के बोल रहा है कि चल मैं मारूंगा. इधर उसने बोला भाई मैं तो नहीं रहूंगा लेकिन तुम मेरा बदला जरूर लेना.
Man,
Imagine Gajni trying to do a tattoo and forgetting midway through the tattoo. That will be the worst.
अबे ब्रो
Somehow
वो तो
Gajni
छोड़,
always completes his tattoos.
सस्पेंशन ऑफ डिसबिलीफ थे,
हाँ.
बोले कि खुद ही बना रहा है.
हाँ, वो शीशे में देख के and handwriting is perfect.
मस्त एकदम.
dude, and
मैं बोला, भाई तू इतना इंटेलिजेंट, देखो मिरर इमेज देख के तू कर पा रहा है यार. That's another this
the irony also
talent.
of getting killed in a place called Soft Touch.
Soft touch.
Yeah.
It's
It's very, very not soft touch.
mind-boggling. It's
No,
mind-boggling.
do you not remember soft touch? While on the way from Mumbai to Pune on the expressway, you would see a hoarding with Milind Gunaji. He would stand like that. और तो नकली ऐसे विलास के फोटो है. और वहां पर लिखा है विद कोट्स, वेलकम टू द वर्ल्ड ऑफ सॉफ्ट टच,
Oh no.
Hmm.
Oh no.
What was that
ट्रांसपेरेंट
soft touch?
डील्स एंड पर्सनल टच। और मिलिंद गुना जी ऐसा खड़ा है उधर, ऐसे
With a cowboy
पासपोर्ट के
hat.
पोस्टर में विद काउबॉय हैट, समवेयर इन लोनावला, peering into your eyes as you drive by कि यार थोड़ा क्या चल रहा है।
Yeah, yeah. Wow, what a like. Can you imagine just the fact that you're like, shit, where do I start with this case? And then the forensic guy is like, sir, एक second, ये नाम check कर लो. And like, तेरे को कैसे पता भाई?
हम्म।
And he's like, come here, come here. Crazy.
Dude, it's like sometimes it's just one of these weird things where you're just like, how the amount of planning it takes, just to get rid of stuff. So there's this one guy in the 90s. This guy is called Joe Metheny, and he's a serial killer.
Hmm.
Now so he used to kill his victims, of course, but then you got to get rid of the body, and most of the times that's where you get caught. So what this guy used to do is he used to take their meat,
Oh,
mix it with pork, and make hamburgers and sell it at a roadside stall.
oh,
To the point where the burgers started getting famous, where it's like these
अबे
burgers
यार
taste
yuck.
like nothing else. And that's how he fucking got caught because the burgers were too good.
नहीं
That's
नहीं that,
insane. Imagine FDA coming to your thing to check कि भाई क्या चल रहा है, थोड़ा सा खाने वाने बराबर है कि नहीं।
that
तुम
is that
एंड
is
वंस टू चेक, you're like एक मिनट, ये तो बीफ नहीं है ना चिकन है, ये क्या मीट है।
this is
But this is
finger licking
Chris.
good, dude.
Secret, well, that's what he used to say. This is a secret family recipe, so he won't let it, he
No,
won't let it out.
this is Hannibal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, there's that movie that came out now. Ralph Fiennes is the chef in it.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's called chef only, no? Is it not?
It's called the
नहीं नहीं
chef,
नहीं.
the table, the
Oh, the
something,
menu, the menu.
हाँ.
the menu, the
Menu.
menu. Like उसमें भी क्या वही है ना सीन
Yeah.
कि
Hmm.
मैं तुमको इंसान दबेश।
इंसान दबेश.
By the way, I also need to tell you about this crazy story of this particular movie. Okay. So there's this movie that came out in 1985. Okay, it was called Guinea Pig 2, Flower of Flesh and Blood. Okay,
Guinea Pig 2,
Guinea Pig
Flower
2.
of Flesh and Blood, ये बी मूवी
Flower.
लग रही है उनकी।
हाँ, हाँ. It's a very like, so it was a Japanese horror movie. And it was like, meaning like serious horror. Okay, like the plot of this movie is that there's a guy who's killing women so that he can use them to make some flower arrangement. He's a florist. He's using human
Okay.
parts to make a flower arrangement. Okay, that's the plot of this movie. So it's pretty gory, extremely gory. Now, what happens is that years later in the 90s, like early 90s, a film critic called Chris Gore, funnily enough, meets actor Charlie Sheen, all right, of Two and a Half Men fame and all the other movies, meets Charlie Sheen and gives him a copy of Guinea Pig 2. Now, Charlie Sheen, to begin with, is not always fully there. To begin with,
Yeah.
like it depends on what time of the day you catch him, how much of what drug.
Of what he is on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Charlie Sheen, in his whatever mind space, puts on Guinea Pig 2, Flower of Flesh and Blood. एंड वो देखता है उसका आगे सब बड़ा हो जाता है, चौक जाता है आदमी, राइट? हिज ब्लड रन्स कोल्ड. ही इज लाइक, ब्रो, आई डोंट थिंक आई एम वाचिंग अ मूवी, आई थिंक आई एम वाचिंग एन एक्चुअल मर्डर. Okay, Charlie Sheen is convinced that this is just a guy.
Nobody's going to take Charlie Sheen seriously, even if he went out
Yeah.
and said,
So Charlie Sheen calls the FBI.
oh,
Oh, fuck.
Okay, calls the FBI and says, guys, ये movie मैंने देखा, Guinea Pig 2. I feel Guinea Pig 2 is defo real murder. Okay, please figure out what is happening. So FBI has now looked at the film. They've gone through
oh,
it.
they took him seriously. That's good. I thought they would be like, Charlie, cut down on the drugs.
Okay, now they took the movie, they looked at it, they went to the distributor, they're like, bhai, kya hai? Tum log, are you distributing actual crimes? What's going on? The distributor said, guys, this is a real man. This is a real filmmaker. He's made like Guinea Pig 1 bhi aaya hai, by the way. So, missed it, right? So, He says he convinces them it's all prosthetics, it's all this and that and the other. But basically, it got to the point where um, the FBI said, you have to show us what prosthetics, how you did, show making of behind the scenes. So they actually had to show them how they made the movie, how they made the effects, etc., etc. Okay, that's why the FBI got convinced. Now, here's where the story takes a crazier turn. Okay, so far, light-hearted comedy film featuring Charlie Sheen. Now, it becomes a murder mystery. Now, when the movie releases, this director of this movie, okay, is extremely surprised because people keep coming up to him and saying that there is a murderer out in Japan who is committing copycat crimes. Okay. Now, uh, the director of this movie is like, what do you mean? So basically, what happens is that around like a year or two after this movie comes out, a slew of murders happen in Tokyo, okay, where four murders take place and like very young girls were killed. Okay, now they would eventually catch the guy who committed these crimes. Okay, this guy's name was Tsutomu Miyazaki. Okay? So when Tsutomu Miyazaki is caught, they go to his house, and when they enter his house, they see that this guy has 5,000 films in his house. Okay?
Oh,
He's got like just DVDs of horror films, of uh, gore, of all of this stuff, and he also had like manga and all of these things. But like 5,000, like this guy's like saturated his brain, okay, with movies. Now, amongst those 5,000 films, they find Guinea Pig 2. Okay, so basically, this guy had seen the Guinea Pig series, and right before he was caught, the director had met with the Tokyo police because the Tokyo police had seen Guinea Pig 2 and they were like, dude, like this seems similar. There is definitely some kind of connection. So they sat with him. They said that, listen, we want a meeting with you to understand the mind of a killer.
yeah.
कि तुम लोग क्या सोच के बनाए? So they were about to do that meeting, but right before that, they caught this particular killer, Sutomu Miyazaki.
Insane,
This is
bro.
Basic Instinct meets Hannibal Lecter, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
Hey,
a
bro, but talking about like movies that have connection, we were talking about this earlier, Kautuk, about Bong Joon-ho's movie, uh,
yes,
Memories of Murder. So for those of you who don't know, this is it's a true story about the hunt for a specific serial killer in South Korea who hasn't been found. So the movie is a retelling of how the murder happened, who were the suspects, what happened, yada yada. But even in the movie, the end doesn't reveal who the killer is because the killer wasn't found at the time the movie
for sure.
was getting made.
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
But one beautiful thing that I found out much later while watching Bong Joon-ho videos is that the last scene of the movie is he goes into this little ditch, right? He's looking around, and you think that, oh, maybe now he'll find the killer, find the this, find the
Uh,
doesn't happen. And then the last shot is he just looks straight into the lens, into the camera. So as an audience, when you're sitting, it's like he's looking into your eyes, right? Just point blank. And his reasoning was that since the serial killer wasn't caught, I he could have just as well be one of the people who was in the theater watching my movie. So I wanted to sort of let him know that the police are looking for you. That was his, the subtext behind that shot. So I
hmm.
found really cool, very interesting. और आज ही सुबह को मेरे को भावतुक ने बता दिया है कुछ. भावतुक, why don't you say?
So basically, um, this killer was eventually they did find him, and here's the story of this killer. So basically, what happened is that the movie Memories of Murder, they were based on these serial killings that took place between 86 and 91. Okay.
Hmm.
There were about 15 people, I think, who were killed, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 15 women and girls who were killed.
Hmm.
The murders were uh, it was one of the biggest, and at the time that Memories of Murder was made, it was the biggest unsolved case in South Korea's history It had been the case with the most man hours, the most money spent, all of that was done, but they just could not catch this particular killer. Like he just evaded all detection. Now, what happened is that, so which is why like 2003 is when Memories of Murder gets made, and it's by the way, it is one of the best crime films that has ever been
Yeah, yeah,
ever.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
It's one of the best. So if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. It's like spine chilling, and at the
And
same time,
superbly made, bro. Like, just brilliant.
yeah, and at the same time, it's got like a lot of like police procedural stuff, a very reality
Yeah.
based, grounded movie. So uh, now the movie gets made. The killer eventually didn't see the movie because the killer was in jail at the time that this movie came out.
Mm.
Was in jail for another crime that he had committed. The killer's name was Lee Chun Jae. Now, what happened is that this guy commits these crimes. He commits these crimes, he gets away with it. What he goes to jail for is for killing his sister-in-law or his sister-in-law's murder. So when he kills the sister-in-law, he's caught, put in prison for he's got a life imprisonment out of it. So he's in jail from 1994, and which is why like they kept looking but they couldn't find anybody. Now in 2019, when the statute of limitations of this of the 15 murders is voided, that's when this guy finally confesses and says, yes, I did it. And when he says this, he also reveals a lot of other details that that also then tell you sometimes how a lot of unsolved murders sometimes just remain unsolved because of the strangest reasons, like just luck being on the side of the killer.
Mm.
Says he reveals later, Lee Chun Jae, he basically said that when I was committing these crimes, they had become so big that hundreds of cops had descended on the in the town that I was committing these murders in. Hundreds of cops, and I would keep bumping into these cops. They would keep seeing me, and they would stop me also, and they would ask me questions about everybody except me.
Wow.
Oh shit.
So I was giving information on ये इधर था वो उधर था इसका alibi ये है उसका वो है, and they are just not asking me. One time they catch him. He's literally freshly, this murder has happened. They've caught him. He's got a watch belonging to the victim on his person.
Oh, fuck.
And a
Okay.
detective has caught him. And they've asked him, and they said, do you have your ID? He says, no. And the cop says, okay, next time get it, okay? And he leaves. So this guy, just through sheer luck, evades the cops. He later went on to say that I was surprised. I was more surprised than anybody else how I didn't get caught because I made no particular effort to kind of hide what I was doing. Like I was just waiting to get caught. I just didn't. It didn't happen.
Mm.
So sometimes reality is exactly as anticlimactic as this.
Dude, it's like it's those weird things. So there's this one. Okay, now that I'm getting back to cats because this woman basically her name is Cheryl Ruthven. So Cheryl Ruthven watched the Da Vinci Code. Okay, the movie Da Vinci Code, Tom Hanks wala.
Hmm.
And in that, Mary Magdalene is the Holy Grail, basically, right? That is what the conspiracy states, that Mary Magdalene is she carries the blood of Christ and blah, blah. So she claimed to be Mary Magdalene and she started a cult. And she's charismatic, great orator. People start following her. Now, it's a doomsday cult, ke doomsday is coming. And the only way you can get to heaven is by adopting cats. तो उसके सारे फॉलोअर इससे कैट्स खरीद रहे तो शी चार्जिंग देम अ फी टू टेक अ कैट फ्रॉम हर सो अप टू द पॉइंट वेयर ईच फॉलोअर हैज अबाउट 30 cats. So now these people are collecting cats, and that's the only way because cats are supposed to be the guardians of the underworld and this and that. So cats are the only vessels that will take your soul to heaven. That is the logic. That's the only way you will. The more cats you have, the more guarantee you have to go to heaven. तो एवरीबडी ठीक है यार, चल पैसा जा रहा है, एटलीस्ट इट्स गोइंग फॉर अ गुड कॉज, दे आर प्रॉब्ली टेकिंग केयर ऑफ थिंग्स, ही इज रनिंग अ स्कूल, ये वो. One day, one of the followers notices that Cheryl has got a boob job. And then slowly they start noticing, oh, like clearly, like she's spending a lot of the money that is being given to her on cosmetic enhancements. And ऐसे ऐसे करके basically they've ended up like it's just become like you've taken something that was possibly, oh, इस कुछ हो रहा होगा, everybody will die. No, anticlimactic. She just wanted money for cosmetic procedures and she started all this. And there's a whole documentary that they've made on Discovery or something, which is called The Curious Case of the Doomsday Cat Cult. So then they've done a whole khulasa on this, but it's a proper anticlimactic thing where like people don't end up dying, but it's just इसका हम लोग vanity project को fund कर रहे हैं.
Every time these cults come up, now it's always so fascinating. Like the way that, like, you know, you can fall into it. You can believe all of this stuff. Apocalypse आने वाला है और cats will save me.
Yeah.
Bro, have you guys heard of this human chessboard murder
नहीं.
from Japan?
The only
So,
chessboard I know is Dharmender doing Mera Pyar Shalimar. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
wow,
Means I
Adar,
think
yeah, yeah.
they did it in Himesh's movie. Himesh did it as well.
No, I only don't remember.
Black and white tile पे Dharmender
Oh yeah,
is,
yeah, I saw that.
and
Hmm.
then it's
Please,
Himesh
Vijay.
doing the same thing.
No, so this is a lot more gruesome than that. So basically, the year is 2000, and in a town called Amori in Japan, so police enter this house in this village where they open the thing and they find uh, this middle-aged guy dead, murdered in his own house. So further investigation leads to finding out that this guy is actually a retired professor who used to love chess. So they found this guy dead, but what caught everybody's attention is नीचे जमीन पे 64 tiles, black and white. And on that, on each tile, there were human figurines.
अरे.
Okay, figurines. So,
Figurines are not actual human parts.
then they started finding out more where this guy was fucking insane, where he would blackmail your people into his twisted game, which is he would play chess. And suppose you denote each person one thing, you are rook, you are this, you are that. And as per how the game is going, the person would be killed.
Oh, okay.
So to it so the theory is, like whatever short I know about it, the theory is that he was doing this crazy game, but at one point in time, one of the people who was his rook had to kill another person. That guy refused and instead killed him, killed Kazuo. And the way the figurines were attached and like placed, if you see the game from the top, it was checkmate. तो इसने इसका ही गेम लेके इसको मार दिया है, फिर मार के खेला है शायद, और ऊपर से देखेगा तो देखेगा अरे फक, ये मूव इज चेकमेट.
What if Queen's Gambit was a true crime series?
Yeah.
Shit. No, this is another example, na, कि तू इसको, you try making this into a web series, see how people go like, it's so unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, you guys have heard about that, na? The pizza guy with the bomb around his neck. You guys remember that?
Was it
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I'll just say one line. Basically,
Hmm.
starts with a bank. A dude shows up in the bank with a bomb around his neck. Okay, pizza delivery guy, and he's like, boss, if you don't give money, this is going to explode. So public की फट जाती है, बैंक टेलर ये वो पैसा लेके दे देता है. But एक alarm भी गया and the cops have found out. Once this guy comes out, fucking cops from either side, put your hands up, put your thing down, hands where we can see them, this, that. But this guy screaming and saying, guys, please help me. And I'm not doing this. I've got the money also, but just take this off, take this off, take this off. And poof, explosion. And you would think that this is some deranged man, kuch ye ho gaya. But what actually follows, when you find out, it will blow your mind. Like from this first scene till the end of the document, it's called Evil Genius. on
हाँ
on Netflix. Fucking twisted.
Yeah, it's quite a crazy
Don't
story.
want to reveal obviously what it is, इसलिए तुमको बोल रहा हूँ जाके देख लो. But रैप करने से पहले कोई ट्रू क्राइम डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज देखिए जो थोड़ा रेकमेंडेशन कर लेते हैं.
All right, guys. I have one documentary recommendation. This is a documentary called Long Shot. Okay, Long Shot is, by the way, if you're a fan of true crime and comedy, this is the perfect Milan. Okay,
हाँ.
The crimedy.
it's a crime. It's a crimedy. It's a crimedy because this was a case that was solved with the help of Larry David,
Of all people.
of all people. So I'm sure, like a lot of you might already know this. In case you know this, amazing. I'll tell you what this was. In case you do not know this and would want to see the documentary, then this is your last warning. Stop the video
Yeah.
here. Go check it out. Come back.
Unless you want to
Um,
listen to it in Kautuk's voice, then please continue listening.
yeah, I'll give a quick summary
Don't
of
touch
what the
yourself.
story is.
Don't touch yourself. We can see you.
So here's the story. Okay, story takes place in August of 2003, where there's a man called Juan Catalan. He was brothers with a gangster. Okay, a gangster called Mario Catalan. Now, what happens is that there's a woman called Martha Puebla who is killed, and she was a witness at a hearing of this famous gangster Mario Catalan. Now, what happens is that when she's killed, police officers make a composite of the person who was seen committing the crime, and the composite like the face resembled Juan Catalan like to the T. So the officers catch him, and he's now facing this incredible like it's very like stringent this thing that he's facing, years in prison. So what happens is that now he's like, yeah, I've not done this crime. I'm innocent, right? But how do I prove that I'm innocent? So he asks his lawyers, can you tell me when this crime took place? So they give him a date, right? And he says, wait 1 second. On that date, I was at a baseball game. And it just so happened that that baseball game was being filmed by Larry David for an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Fuck.
So he's like, dude, we need to get in touch with Larry David. Ask him, do you have the raw footage of that thing? Because I'm sure like they took crowd shots. ये वो ये वो. तो Larry David को फोन आया. Larry David को बोला कि भाई एक murder suspect है. He wants the raw footage of your episode. Can you give it? So Larry David's like, what the fuck? Okay, I mean, if this it'll help him prove to be innocent, amazing, cool, let's do it. So they comb through the raw footage. And in one of the crowd shots, who do they see?
Oh shit.
Juan Catalan.
Hard one.
So he was acquitted basis on this and the fact that like there were several phone calls that were made to his phone and it placed him in the stadium. So,
Bro, imagine Larry David when he heard this, he's like, "Ek minute. You know, anybody can use this excuse, right? Like people who are
I want
hardcore
to see an
Lakers fans,
episode.
they might just call
I want
Samay.
to see an episode.
Yeah, I'm getting.
मेरे को एक एडवांस में एपिसोड देखना है.
मुझे तेरे
मर्डर
जो भी आए ना, मैं एक्चुअली क्राउड में था. कौन से मैं सब मैं तेरे जितने एपिसोड रिलीज नहीं किए तूने, मैं सब में क्राउड में था. इफ यू कैन जस्ट सेंड मी दैट देन आई कैन गेट एक्विटेड.
पीपल जस्ट इंडिया में भी कर सकते हैं. पीपल जस्ट कॉलिंग सलमान, अरे ये पिक्चर जो आप शूट कर रहे हो भाई, ये इसमें मैं क्राउड में था, आपका थोड़ा मुझे मर्डर ट्रायल के लिए मदद चाहिए. भाई लाइक अभी तक शूटिंग शुरू नहीं हुई है क्योंकि मैं वैनिटी से नहीं निकला. तुम क्या बात कर रहे हो?
And Larry David basically hangs up on them saying, hey bro, curb your prosecution.
Crazy one. मजेदार. I think
एक और है, एक डॉक्यूमेंट्री if you guys want to watch, called Bad Influence.
Oh.
So it's the kidfluencing universe. You know, where kids have already like 7-year-old kids and stuff like that. They start off becoming influencers, and by 15 they are making millions of rupees, like millions of dollars.
They're making that way before they're 15.
Yeah. And and then the kids have basically come out. It's around this one woman who created an entire ecosystem of kids around her daughter. And all of them kind of, she created this alternate, Disney के जो बच्चे होते थे वैसे she's created this alternate space where she's just become like this mother hen, and like all the other parents have to listen to her, so she's become like the person that they all have to give hafta to, and she's keeping all the money,
Running
and
a
it's like
racket.
it's yeah, it became a full racket, bad influence.
बैड इन्फ्लुएंस, नाइस वन। मस्त। और कुछ है अभी और
Cool.
करते रहेंगे। आई थिंक ये बहुत टाइम के बात कर रहे हैं ट्रू क्राइम, और हम लोग ये एपिसोड की रिसर्च करते हुए और बहुत बड़ा पिटारा निकला है, तो विल बी डेफिनेटली डूइंग अ लॉट मोर पार्ट्स ऑफ ट्रू क्राइम, बट आज के एपिसोड को इधर ही समाप्त करते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग, विल सी यू अगेन नेक्स्ट वीक। इफ यू हैव एनी ट्रू क्राइम आइडियाज यू लेट अस नो, मे बी हम वो थोड़ा पढ़ के आए।
Yes.
I'll be
Please
no,
don't
not
tell us like
ideas,
that.
Hmm.
not ideas as in how to do crime, about any other true crime stories that
That
you
we
really
missed. Yeah.
like. Just leave us a line so we'll go check up on those. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next week. Until then, it's goodbye, take care, tata, salamesh. भाई अगर तू ट्रू क्राइमर होता तो
True
देखो,
crime.
देखो ऐसी क्या शक्ति चाहिए जिससे पुलिस तुझे पकड़ नहीं सके? लाइक डू यू वांट नो फिंगर, नो, लाइक यू हैव नो
No
फिंगरप्रिंट,
fingerprints.
और हाँ क्या चाहिए?
At this point, no DNA. Straight.
और
Yeah,
एनी का
just
DNA is
DNA ही नहीं है
so.
तेरे पास.
DNA नहीं है।
तू तो है क्या? तू ऐसे ही
मैं
है।
मैं बस
You're,
thought.
you're an ethereal spirit. So
तू
basically,
करेगा
you want
कैसे
to be a
क्राइम?
ghost. You want to be a ghost.
देख, यू हैव टू बी अ रियल पर्सन बट विद वन थिंग नॉट देयर, कि तेरे पास तेरे
No,
फुटप्रिंट्स नहीं,
so I'll tell you what it
तेरे
is.
फिंगरप्रिंट्स नहीं है, तेरे को
So
बाल नहीं है।
basically every single time you take my DNA, you get a different uh like a different match.
ओह
So
नाइस।
so फिर because
Oh,
and the thing is that in
you have
today's
a
day and
you
age,
have a DNA VPN. That's what you're
yeah,
saying.
I have a DNA VPN. And the thing is that in today's day and age, DNA is so it's basically like the final nail, right? If it's a DNA match, meaning तो है. तो
है
बाकी
हाँ.
कुछ भी बोल कि मेरा I was on a episode of Larry David, कुछ भी बोल.
हाँ।
Fuck you, DNA, it's you,
तो
right?
अगर डीएनए निकाल नहीं पाया तो मेरे को चाहिए कि तू फिर जो भी ऑडियो विजुअल मीडियम पे ना, जैसे ये डेड रेकनिंग में वो होता है ना, जो विलेन जो दिखाई नहीं
Yeah,
देता है, एआई निकाल
gets
देता है,
Entity.
disappeared.
स्क्रब कर देता है, तो तू है ही नहीं, तो कभी आऊंगा नहीं सिक्योरिटी कैम में, ऑडियो फुटेज में ना कोई पोपट मेरा नाम ले सकते हैं। मेरे को एक्चुअली ये चाहिए, क्योंकि आजकल ये
Or you
पोपट
just leave mosquitoes everywhere. You just leave mosquitoes in different parts of the world with your blood in it. It's like, भाई
तो
ये
यू आर
देखो
गेटिंग कॉल्ड
चाहिए.
फॉर डिफरेंट मर्डर केसेस, चुतिया तेरे को इधर
नहीं
का।
नहीं, that's your, अरे but you're there ना, that means like, अरे भाई ये
Alibis.
देखो यहाँ पे, हाँ ये देखो मैं कौतुक के घर पे था, कौतुक के घर से मच्छर
So
निकाला,
you
मच्छर
get
के अंदर मेरा खून.
arrested and then you tell the
हाँ.
cops, go catch a mosquito that was there in Thane. फिर तू देख क्या होता है.
चल मस्त।